Hey everyone, and welcome back to Sports Design School. Now it's that time of the week where we highlight some of our favorite designs and designers, and I'm going to be completely honest, you guys delivered this week. The designs that you put out were absolutely outstanding, definitely mind-blowing for sure. So I'm excited to jump into this video and talk about some of my favorite designs from the last 7 days. Let's go ahead and dive in. So this first design comes courtesy of Gabriella Bury _designs on Instagram. Now Gabriella Bury is an incredibly talented designer. I definitely recommend checking her out on Instagram. She's a must follow in my book, and this design is no exception. She absolutely crushed it. There's so many different things in this design that I could talk about, but I think the thing that caught my eye first was the horse elements that she incorporated throughout the design. It's one of those cool things where when you're designing for the Mavericks, you're able to use some different images that you might be able to. And like the horse imagery, I think just really speaks to, the boldness of this design. And so the way that she used the lighting within the horses themselves, you can see the lighting and the shadows of the horses just looks phenomenal. I mean, she absolutely killed it. And then when you combine that with like the little subtle eye glow, I think it's just enough to put the design over the edge. When you combine that with the perfect execution of the lighting on both of the cutouts, this cool kind of environment that we find ourselves in, I don't know if it's a kind of an underwater scene or what it might be. And then when you combine that also with the kind of subtle blue gradient in the background, I think it all comes together to create a beautiful image. So Gabriella Bury, congratulations, you absolutely crushed this, and we can't wait to see what artwork you put out here very soon. Our next designer is Jane Mortimer. I apologize for butchering the name, but Jane is a super talented designer, and a little bit about her. She's from Sydney, Australia, and one of the things I love about Jane's work is that she covers some things that we don't typically cover in the American sports bubble. So in America, we cover a lot of baseball, basketball, football, but we don't always branch outside of that bubble. Now, if you check out Jane on Instagram, she does lots of different Australian sports, as well as soccer for my British and Australian followers and subscribers. I believe it's football. But I love her rugby designs that she does. She absolutely crushes those. They're super unique, and it's a great source of inspiration to kind of find something outside of the realm of American sports. But this design is one of those awesome design executions that Jane is known for. It's a Chelsea design. I don't actually know the name of this player. That's just me being in my American sports bubble, to be completely honest. But so many things that stood out to me. I loved kind of the diagonal lines that really bring this design together, from the top left corner to the bottom right corner, almost like a little bit of a light overlay. It all just makes the image feel more cohesive. One of my favorite words that I use in this, but I seriously mean it. Cohesion in design is one of the most important things, especially in sports design when you're trying to bring a bunch of different elements together. If you can make those elements feel like they belong on the same image, then you're absolutely doing a phenomenal job as a designer, and Jane definitely did that with this design. I think Jane's cutout arrangement looks really great. I think the way that she laid everything out looks phenomenal. And then also like the little KAI balloons, I think is a nice touch as well. So Jane, awesome work, love what you do. You're definitely going to have a loyal fan from here on out at Sports Design School. Now this next design, so good. When I saw it, I literally stopped what I was doing and just said, wow, because that's how great this is. It's not a very typical design, but I think that's what stood out to me so much about it. It's this design from Seamus Productions on Instagram. Now Seamus is one of my longtime favorite follows. I think I've been following him since basically the beginning here on Sports Design School. And the work that he puts out is just excellent. I mean, all around great work from Seamus Productions. Now, I love this design really for its simplicity. You see just a solid white background. And then we have really just a back cutout that is just a black overlay with the Dodgers hat on top. And then the subtle detail of adding the birds, I think just looks great. When you combine that with the Hollywood Hills in the background, and then some nice, I believe that's like a divide overlay on one of the sides of the Palm Tree Hills, and then kind of like a black overlay on the other side with the Hollywood standing out in that white text. all of it just speaks to me. I think it's so unique and so different that it stands out in ways that are super amazing. So Seamus Productions, really love the work that you're putting out. Keep up the great work. Now, this next designer is one that I've been wanting to feature here on the channel for a few weeks now, just because there have been so many incredible designs. This is from Narrow Designs on Instagram, and Narrow Design has a very unique style. Now, if you follow Narrow Designs on Instagram, you can see just about in every design that they do, they use like this scribble text effect to kind of blend their image into the background. And you can see that executed to perfection in this Ezekiel Elliott design. First of all, just the unique scribbling on everything. I don't know if you use that with like a pen and it's done by hand, or if you're using a font, but I think it just really stands out and adds a nice detail, especially when you're able to add like the feed me in the top left and then some different text throughout the other backgrounds, even some geometric shapes in there. I think it really stands out and catches the eye. And then the treatment on all of the players looks great. I think the way that you manipulated some of the colors and really made them pop looks fantastic. Narrow Designs, keep up the great work. Seriously love lots of the designs that you put out, so keep it up. This next design comes courtesy of DSGN by AM. So I'm not going to try to pronounce all of that, but I imagine it's designed by AM. And it's this Odell Beckham design. And I really love this. I'm going to be completely honest. So what really stands out to me at first is like the little subtle Cleveland detail that's kind of it's really just kind of like a background element in the bottom of the image, kind of hidden by the orange kind of fog. But I think it just like looks really cool when you combine that with the cutout that kind of sits above it. And it looks like the fog just kind of comes out a little bit and then interacts with that cutout covering part of the shoe. And it really just makes it blend together really well. The cutouts themselves, I think, look great. I've seen several designers use this kind of like Old English style lettering on the OBJ designs lately, and I just think it looks great. And then like some of the textures that you applied to this image, I think look really sharp as well. I think it's like this weird balance that I find myself in a lot, where I try to not do too much of a texture to try and take away from the image, but do enough to where you can notice it. And I think Design by AM absolutely crushed that here. Great work. Love what you do on your page. I can't wait to see what you have coming very soon. Now this next design really just comes out of design envy, to be honest. If you keep up with our channel, we put out a Ja Morant video. I think maybe by the time you're watching this video, about maybe 5 days ago. So if you haven't checked that out already, go and check it out. We have the free PSD over there for you to check out. But then I saw this Harry O Creative design just about immediately after, and it was one that absolutely blew my mind, mainly just because the color execution on this is so great. So the way that Harry O Creative really ran with these gold colors within like the city jersey of the Memphis Grizzlies, it just really all feels very royal and almost regal. And so we have the gold elements from the jersey that kind of make up the background. We have the cutouts where the gold seems to be accentuated. And then we have this cool kind of pattern in the right side of the image, but also in gold. And I think it just brings the image together and really stands out. So awesome execution on this Harry O Creative. Keep up the great work. Now this next design comes from a super talented designer, Bradley Holman, and this design features a Milwaukee Brewer baseball player. I believe it's Corbin Burns, based off of Brad's Instagram caption here. But some things I really loved about this design in particular, you have the layout of these designs, or of these cutouts. So it's really tough to try and find cutouts that work together. If you've created something with lots of different cutouts, you know how difficult it can be. Sometimes you have like cutouts that one guy's turned to the right and then one guy's turned to the left. You have an action shot versus maybe just a more stationary, static headshot. And you're trying to make all these images work together and blend them into one cohesive image. Back to that cohesive word. And I think Brad did a great job of taking all these images and making them feel like they fit together. So the image choice in particular was really great. This back image works really well when paired with this back right image. And then you have these two front images, which honestly, it's kind of tough to have two front images, but I think the execution is carried out very well. I love like this brushstroke back texture combined with some like, I think it's like blue brushstroke elements on top. And then also like the lighting on these cutouts themselves looks very well done. I think the shadows looks very well executed. And then when you combine that with like the touch-ups in the hat and the highlights, I think it all just stands out, and I think it looks very unique. And then also, Bradley, I gotta be honest, your signature in the bottom right looks really great. It's blended very well into the image. You almost don't even notice it, which is what I guess you're going for. So keep up the great work. Love the work you're doing over there. I think this design looks phenomenal. Down to our last two designs of this week. This design comes courtesy of designs by Mladen. Now, Mladen is a super talented designer. I say that just about for all these people, but I genuinely mean it. These are all must follows on Instagram. And I really like this design simply because the way Mladen used this kind of Chelsea lion image. And I guess this is a design week where everyone was using this guy. I believe it's Kai Havertz. I apologize again to my British subscribers who are loyal soccer fans. I don't mean to butcher his name, I just genuinely don't know. But I think the execution of this design is really cool. I think the blue coloring in the background with some subtle details, I think it's like a star image in the background. Looks really sharp. And then I also love the way that the line is used up front. And then when you combine that with like the cool kind of grunge texture on the edges, I think it all comes together to create one awesome looking image. Designs by Mladen. Keep up the great work. I apologize if I butchered the name, but we love what you do on your platform. And our last design here on our favorite designs of the week comes courtesy of C-Rad graphics. Now this is an amazing design that features almost like a illustration type style. So here we have Devin Booker and Chris Paul walking off into the sunset with the Valley word mark on top, which looks awesome. But the thing I really love about this is you can zoom in and it looks like these like cacti, like these mountains in the background, even like the sun, all looks hand-drawn. It looks illustrated, and I don't know if it actually was. I imagine it was. C-Rad design, maybe you can answer that in the comments, but it looks like there's so many different elements, and then when you zoom in, there's like a little hand scribble lines around each of the cutouts. I think the player treatment as well just works really well with the image. It almost fits in with that hand illustrated type feel. And I would just really love to know C-Rad Graphics' process in going through this design, because it's one of those that looks outstanding. I seriously love the simple style. A common theme on this channel is there's so many different sports designs, and they all kind of have this tendency of looking similar. And if you've been in the sports design game for a while, you know that sports design kind of has this look. It has this sporty look where everything is kind of futuristic and like grungy, you name it, like dark colors, bright contrast, whatever it may be. But anytime that we have the ability to escape that bubble and try something different, I think it deserves praise. And C-Rad Graphics definitely did this with this Phoenix Suns designs. So we definitely love what you're doing over there, C-Rad. Keep up the great work. But that's it, guys. That's all I have today for the channel. Thank you guys so much for checking out these talented designers and all of their incredible designs. If you like this video, make sure you subscribe. We do videos like this basically every single week, just highlighting some of our favorite designs and designers. And I think it's super important on this channel that we elevate the designers that create the artwork, because it's important to remember that design is an artwork process, right? It's not just something that you go into a computer and mash a bunch of buttons. It's actually like an artistic process where you have to go through and come up with these creative ideas and execute them. So whenever we have the opportunity to uplift graphic designers, we love to here on this channel. But if you enjoyed this video, make sure you drop a like. I think every video we have a goal of getting to about 50 likes. So if you could help us out with that, that would be a huge help. But other than that, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.